Oh, yeah, get her in.
Okay.
Welcome, everybody. Today, for our class, we're going to be focusing on transitions. So, I am going through lots of transitions, and I have a feeling that you're probably experiencing some transitions too. And if you haven't been experiencing that in the more present time, I know you have, because life is all about transitions. And I firmly believe we're going through a massive transition right now, a huge paradigm shift in the world, on the planet, with humanity. And so we're all experiencing at least that part of the transition. But I just turned 50, which means I'm transitioning into the second half of my life. I'm going through menopause, which means I'm transitioning through that phase of life. And my dad has been stroked for a few years, and his health is just slowly dwindling. He's getting more and more feeble, which is another transition of slowly grieving and losing a parent. And then my one and only child had his last stage band concert at school, his last jazz band concert at school, his last symphony concert at school, his last prom at school, and I just took my last visit to the school. He's graduating in a week. Woo! Yeah. I'm actually excited he's getting out of that system, but it's still a transition. It's still a lot of emotions involved, both celebratory, but also there's a grieving process. You know, there's that letting go. And life is about transitions. And so the idea is, can we bring the yogic attitude into the transitions? Can we embrace the transitions? Because a lot of the transitions that form in life aren't in our control, right? Menopause is not in my control. If it was, I would put a pause on the hot flashes. And there's a lot of things that give us curveballs in life. And the yogic idea is to let go of clinging to what was, to let go of clinging to what we think will be, to stop clinging to possessions, to stop clinging to people and relationships. So that is a major yogic principle, to be non-clinging. And that's a part of non-attachment. It's the part of letting go. It's the part of accepting things as they come with grace and with intention and with acceptance, which can be hard. A lot of these lessons are in the sacral chakra, the second major energy field of the body. And it relates back to water. It relates back to our relationships. It relates back to how well we can trust and surrender the process of whatever's unfolding, of whatever's forming. Even though through transitions, there's a lot of uncertainty. We can't see necessarily on the other side. So that's what I want us to embrace. And the way we bring it into the physical practice of yoga, think about how when we're working into a pose, there's three phases to a pose. There's the entering into the pose, the alignment of the pose, the setting up of the pose. That's the first phase. The second phase is being in it, having that alignment, having that breath, having that integrity, having that awareness, having that anchor in that shape. And then the third phase is the dissolution of that. You're exiting out of that shape. And when we're exiting out of the shape, we're normally, in a flow at least, transitioning into the next pose. So the transitions even show up on the mat. And to be just as focused and just as aware in the transitions as we are in the singular poses is critical in a flow practice. And this is gentle flow. So I just want to bring your attention to that, to bring up this piece of yogic philosophy, but also to see as you become contemplative and as you gain a little bit more introspection through your own reflection, how this can be applied to you and your life and maybe some circumstances that you're dealing with presently. So we're going to begin on our backs. And if you don't mind, please have your strap within hand's reach beside you. And when you come down to your spine, check in with your low back. Will it feel better with the knees bent versus the legs extended? And try both of those positionings. If you bend the knees, because your low back's a little uncomfortable, if you do a little scooping of the belly and a little tucking of the tailbone, sometimes that can help relieve the lumbar area. And then once you set up your body, close and rest your eyes. And begin to form an intimate relationship with your breath. Intimacy can be broken down to into, me, I, see. And I want you to drop in, to connect within, and to notice, do you have resistance to change? And if you do have resistance, consider how change is constant and inevitable. Which means transitions will occur. In the Buddhist lineage, they often talk about impermanence and how there is an impermanent nature to things. But there's a famous quote that says, thanks to impermanence, anything is possible. Sense the hope and optimism in that statement. Thanks to impermanence, anything is possible. Consider how with transitions, even though there's this realm of uncertainty that may induce some fear, there's also the potential and the possibilities for endless things to occur. Joyful things, loving things. So it's interesting how we often divert to fear. See if you can set your intention to be led to a deeper appreciation of each moment. To reduce your sense of attachment so that you are not clinging to the old ways. To be mindful with the transitions we use on the mat, as well as off the mat in life. Now, if your knees have been bent, let's inhale, extend the legs. And everyone that has the legs extended already, walk the feet closer together. So your legs are parallel, side by side. Point your toes forward, stretch the arms overhead. And then as you exhale, bring the arms back around, draw the left knee in and hug it in towards your heart. Inhale, separate those limbs, send your left leg forward and arms overhead again. And then exhale this time, clasp a hold of your right knee. Now start to flow between the two sides. Inhale with that morning stretch, and then exhale, hugging the left knee. Inhale, feel the extra curvature you receive in your low back in the morning stretch versus the elongation and the flattening of the low back when you hug the right knee in. Continue this. In mindful and intentional synchronizing movement with breath. Now we began with the left knee, so we're going to end with the right knee. Once you've completed that, inhale, create that morning stretch again. Exhale, draw both knees now in towards your belly and chest. And if you can't handle this much flexion in your knees with your arms resting on top of your shins, please know you can wrap your arms behind your knees. Now close your eyes. Feel the difference here with both knees drawn in instead of only one. Feel the extra space you're receiving in your low back, the little compression you're getting in your abdomen. Try to bring that breath all the way down into your belly so that it balloons up and out. You feel it touching your thighs. And as you breathe out, watch the belly deflate and pull back away from the legs. And affirming here as you hold, I reduce my static forces to rise up and away into the sky. Sometimes through transitions, we get very confused and scatterminded. But all we need to do is pull back the reins. We can do that by controlling the breath. Continue to control the breath now. That will calm the nervous system, which in turn calms and clears the mind for more clarity. Let's gently lower the feet to the floor. Keep your left knee bent for now. Pull the right knee in towards your chest as you grab your strap. Unroll the strap. Wrap it around the ball of the foot, padded area below the toes. Extend the leg above. Extend your arms so your hands are close to the foot. Find the edge of flexibility with your hamstrings. And then go ahead and explore. How does it feel sliding your left leg forward and out? So the legs are more in an L-shaped formation. If that doesn't feel good, you can rebend your left knee. Now give just a slight little tug on the strap and notice the extra flexion you receive in the ankle. An extra stretch you receive in the calf muscles. This is Padangusthasana A. Now take both ends of the strap into your right hand. Plug down the left tip with your left hand and slowly sail the leg open to the right side of the root. Let that foot hover. It's not meant to touch the floor. In fact, if you don't feel your left sit bone or left side of the buttocks still grounded, you want to use your left hand to plug that hip down, and you want to use the exertion energetically to extend your left leg and push it down to even out your pelvis. This is Padangusthasana B. Notice we're externally rotating the hip here, abducting the leg away from the body. Now inhale, bring in the adduction where the leg not only lifts up, but it crosses over your midline. Just use that right hand to cross it over, but keep your sacrum anchored. Breathe into that IT band. And now use your left hand to come up and grab the straps and free up your right arm, lay it down to the floor, and go ahead and roll to your left hip. Sending that leg on over again, letting that foot hover above the floor. Gaining a spinal twist in the equation. which is good for digestion, but also how well we digest, assimilate, and process life. It's not always just about food or diet. Inhale, let's unwind from the twist. Bend the knee, remove the strap. And at first, just have the right foot planted, knee bent. Draw the left knee in next. Hook that strap around the sole of the foot. Fly it up. Walk your hands up the strap, but let your shoulder blades stay nestled to the ground. Get a little extra tug, a little extra lift through the left heel. And find your edge of flexibility here. And then explore. Is it in the realm of possibilities to glide your right leg forward and out? If so, keep the toes up, push down through the thigh bone. Open up the channel of your breath, knowing that it's bringing in this vital life force energy. With that comes information. Let the oxygen pour in. Let that oxygen and life force energy fuel us for this practice. Take the ends of the strap into your left hand. Use your right hand to hold down that right hip. Teeter that leg to the left side of the room. Hover the foot. Try not to roll through around the pelvis. That stays even. Navel is still facing the ceiling. Think about when we were opening the leg, that was the creation of the pose. We're holding it down, having the experience, gaining deeper awareness about ourselves. And then we evolve that by transitioning back to Padangusthasana A, but we're going to go ahead and shift that foot over the midline. Just enough to feel the work in that IT bit. That goes back to the gallbladder meridian. It's usually tender for everyone. Let's place the right hand to the strap, free up your left arm, and go ahead and roll into that twist. If you want a little extra here, all you have to do is pedal that left foot and push it into the fabric of the strap. You may not want any extra. If that's the case, just breathe. All right, on your next in breath, let's go ahead and roll back to center. And as you exhale, bend the left knee, remove the strap, send it to the side, and we're going to bend the knees, roll over to the right side body, push down the left hand up. All right, we're going to flip onto our hands and knees. And when we come to hands and knees, into tabletop position, you want to keep your feet separated, but parallel. Hips aligned over the knees, wrist right below the head of the shoulder. All right, from here, I want you to extend your left arm forward and out, where the hand's planted on the ground. But instead of letting your belly sag, you're zipping up through the belly, cinching in through your low ribs. And then you're just going to squeeze that right elbow down and under. And then you're going to melt about halfway towards the floor. And then inhale, come up, walk your hands over to the wood floor on the right side of your mat. So it's kind of like you're in a diagonal line with your tabletop. And then again, send your left arm forward and out and dip halfway towards the floor and get into some different crevices here, some different tissues here. Feel it from your waistline, through the outside of the shoulder, into the pit of the arm. Really breathe into that left lung. Good. Slide your left hand back. Walk yourself back to a tabletop position. Same thing here. Extend your right arm forward and out. Flatten the palm. Tuck that left elbow down and under and just drop about halfway towards the floor. Now you can dip that belly, dip your chest, saturate that shoulder joint. It's like similar to melting heart, but not completely. And then slide your right hand back as you come up. Walk over to the left side. Reach the right arm forward and out. Dropping and spilling downward. This is really good for the lymphatic tissues in the chest. This is really good for the lymph nodes and the pits of the arms. We'll slide your right hand back. Walk it back to the sticky mat. Your hands are now going to go forward of your shoulders so that you can curl the toes under and pop up, downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, flatten your hands and fingers like pancakes. Push the floor away from you with your hands so that your arms really fire up. Soar your sits bones in the air. Roll your thighs inward and power them back. Stay inverted. Keep breathing. Keep the breath fluid. Affirming calmness is beginning to radiate through every fiber of my being. All right, we're slowly going to walk the hands either back towards the feet or the feet towards the hands. I don't care which one you go for. You may find one easier than the other. But have your feet side by side and then just pour down as you hinge from your hips, folding your body in half. Now really plug the feet down and let your calves charge up and let your knees straighten. Contract your quads, hug the belly in, and then just gently nod your head. Releasing the neck, unraveling the knots here, bringing the blood flow to the face, to the sensory organs, to the brain. And then affirming internally, nothing and no one on this earth can hold me down or back, not even transitions. I will embrace transitions with intention, grace, and acceptance. On your next in-breath, root the feet, sweep the arms to your sides and up overhead, coming to Urdhva Hastasana. Your feet are pushing down, your kneecaps are lifting up, your arms are reaching skyward. And then as you exhale, turn your hands out and just let them gently fan away. Good. Find your strap. And we're going to hold it wider than our bodies. Wider than your shoulders and hips. And it feels weird with being back there today. And then inhale, lift your right arm up. Bring it up alongside your ear. And then exhale, roll that shoulder back. And you can widen your hands if you need to along the way. And then bring the strap down to the sacrum. Stay on the right side. Inhale, lift the right arm back up. And then exhale, bring it down in front of your thighs. Good, stay on the right side. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, roll it back and down. Stick to the right side, bringing it up. And then crossing it over. All right, still warming up the shoulders. Left arm lifts. Exhale, roll it back, lower it down to the buttocks. Inhale, left arm lifts back up. Take your time, and then exhale, roll it forward and back down. One more to the left. Remember, there's a movement with the in-breath. There's a movement with the out-breath, and you may even find a still point in between. That's where you have that little natural pause as you continue. All right, now lift the arms straight up. Now the idea here is to try to get the strap just behind your shoulders. So if there were mirrors in the front of the studio, you wouldn't be able to see your strap because it's behind your back. You feel that? This is really going to open the upper pectoral muscles of the chest, and all this connective tissue is where I feel it. More above those muscles, moving from the chest up into the shoulder region. And so remember, this part of the body is opening up the heart chakra. The arms are like wings of the heart. Take one more deep breath. All right, then inhale, lift it back up. And exhale, lower it down. Leave your shoulders in the break for a moment. Okay, let's let it go. Thank you for your input. Bring your feet to the top of the mat. And have your blocks set up in front of you, because you might want to use them. And they'll be there for you, if that's the case. So roll back and forth on your feet. It's not often, well, I'm barefoot almost every day. It's not often, most people are barefoot, I should say. And we want to be able to spread the toes. So I know when I first started yoga 20 years ago, I had no clue how to spread my toes. And now I spread them and people laugh at me. Okay. So it will come with practice. So just trust that. Hands to heart and bring your thumb to the sternum. As you inhale, let your arms flutter up overhead. Good. As you exhale, bring your palms together. You're going to hinge forward, taking the tailbone back. Let your hands come down to the blocks. And then walk the block so your hands are truly up underneath your shoulders as your tailbone pushes back and as your crown reaches to the front side of the roof. And you're just looking down at that space in between the blocks. Now, this may be where you need to stay. Listen to your body. If you feel like your hamstrings have a little bit more flexibility, bend your arms or bring the hands down towards the feet and fold into your Uttanasana. Inhale, bring your hands back to the blocks and stretch out through the vertebrae. Good, and as you exhale, walk the blocks beside your feet and step back with your left foot. Now again, you don't even have to use blocks if you're not used to using blocks. So in blissful, I don't use them. In gentle, I do. So we're going to focus on plucking the back thigh up on the inhale and pushing through the back heel. And on the exhale, we're going to lunge into that front knee a little more. Good. Inhale, focus on your back leg, lift and push back. Exhale, lunge the front knee. All right, again, one more. Lift up through the back leg, push back through the heel. Exhale, reflex the front knee. Good, now drop the back knee. Untuck the back foot. Now, do you feel how the hips are sinking? All right, you're gonna pull up through the pelvic floor by pushing into the right foot, and your arms are gonna fly up to frame the face. All right, so maybe this is where you wanna stay. We've created Anjaneyasana. There's a lot of structure here, but we're going to flow. So feel the transition if you want to join me, opening your wings set to cactus arms and spilling the hips down and looking up. Inhale, pressing down to the right foot, building up through the pelvic floor, navel and fingertips, and then exhale, bowing back. One more, inhale, erect the spine, more action, and then exhale, be more receptive. Sink and surrender. All right, bring the hands to the block. Curl the back toes under, lift that back knee, Hop it, just a baby step forward, plant the foot, and come up to Virabhadrasana 1. The air feels good, doesn't it? Palms face each other. Your back thighs rolling towards the front. Head over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Look straight ahead with your eyes and fixate your eyes on one place. Now we're getting ready to transition to another pose. You're going to wrap your arms behind your back with your right arm underneath. Before you lower, I'm going to show you the common mistake. The common mistake with this is bringing the head towards the long edge side of the mat and the hip goes way out. But to humble the warrior, we keep the right thigh in place. We squeeze and tuck the right hip under as we fold towards the front knee and then bow the head just to the inside of it. So try to maintain that alignment with your legs, just as it were in Warrior 1, even though you transition to a different variation. Don't shy away from lunging that front knee. Beautiful. I know this is a strengthening pose here. Inhale, gently come up. When you do so, relieve your arms, lift them back overhead. Good. Now place your palms together above your head. Slightly tuck the tailbone. Gently lift your low ribs. And then gently lean your head back. Standing backward bend. Affirming, I am free, I am free. Now place your hands back to the blocks. Spin off that back heel, wiggle the toes back. Sink the knee to the floor. Untuck the back foot. Bring the right knee to join. Set your blocks forward to the corners of the mat. Come down to your palms. And then rock forward with your hips. Keep your knees on the ground. And then exhale, press back to extended child's pose. Inhale, shift forward. Up dog. I think last week we did locust, didn't we? Ready for those cicadas, which they are out, by the way. I went to a shift forward again, up dog on the inhale. I went to East Nashville for a women's circle last night, and we were all outside, and the cicadas were coming and hanging out in our hair and on our bodies, and they're actually cool little creatures. Curl the toes under. They're harmless. Pull in through the belly and rock and roll over the feet. So the Aussie in the house, we have these cicadas, these locusts that come up every 17 years. And you get to see them.
One was curling on me 20 minutes ago.
Let's all take a cleansing breath. Breathe in through the nose. Blow it out through the mouth. Now do that by lifting up to your toes. Breathing in. Good. Exhale through the mouth. Lower your heels. Beautiful. One more. Then inhale up to the toes again. And then exhale, land to your knees. All right. Bring the blocks back in. Stack them so that you can step your left foot forward. Curl the back toes under. And pluck up the back foot. All right. This is the second side, isn't it? Okay. Sometimes when I teach times 2, I'm like, I can't feel it in my body anymore. All right, thank you for your feedback. Lift your right thigh up, push back into your right calf and heel. Exhale, lunge to the front knee. That's it. Inhale, lift, push back, and then exhale, re-lengthen the front thigh. Good, again. Good, now set your back knee down, untuck the foot. And then notice here, we're just dragging, we're heavy, right? So we're pushing through the left foot to draw up through the pelvic floor, in and up through the navel, up through the arms and fingertips. There is some balance here. And you can really stabilize with that front foot. I can't speak that out enough. And then if you want to flow, Exhale, open your heart and hips. Inhale, restructure, realign. And then exhale, expand and open. Inhale. And exhale. Pause a second, keep breathing. Hands down, back toes tucked. Lift the knee, hop the back foot forward. Keep that front knee aligned over the ankle. And form Virabhadrasana 1 for the second side. That right hip rolls around. Deep breaths. Set your drishti, that's your focal point. That aids your concentration. All right, now we'll take the arms to wrap behind the back. And then remember, instead of swinging the hip and the head, we want to maintain that integrity, that same alignment in the lower body. It's just a hinge from the hips. And we spill the head to the inside of that front knee. Don't let the breath fall silent. Command the breath to stay active. That's your fuel. That's what's going to give you the energy to sustain this pose. All right, inhale, coming up. Release your arms. Spin off your back heel. Right foot springs forward. Walk the blocks out in front of you like you're aligned in tabletop, but instead you're on hands and feet. Good. If you want the Uttanasana, you can drop in, lowering the hands away from the blocks, bowing in towards your knees. And on your next inhale, reach the arms all the way up overhead. And this time, exhale, twist to the right, separating your hands. You're turning towards the mirror, your windows. Good. Inhale, face the front, arms frame the face. Exhale, twist to your left. Good. Continue that. Inhale, face the front. Good. Exhale, spin and separate the hands away. Good. Inhale. Back to center and exhale to the left. Good. Continue. Good. This time, when you bring your arms back up, exhale, bring your hands to prayer position at your heart. Good. Find your strap. Do a little bit more shoulder work. We want the strap to kind of hang out over the left shoulder, hanging down towards the sacral area of the back. Your left arm's going to reach up, and then turn your palm to face the wall behind you. Then the arm grab the strap. And more than likely, this is what's going to happen. You want to take your free hand and kind of glue that arm close to the head. Then take the right arm out, thumb points down, so that when it goes behind your back, you can access the strap with your palm. And then wiggle and walk it upstream. Now notice when you do that, notice how the right arm cinches in close to the ribs, just like the top arm cinching in close to the head. Okay, notice if you're starting to poke out your base ribs, can you iron the ribs back in? So it's not really about a back bend, it's really about those shoulders. Close your eyes here. And then affirm mentally within. Free in my heart, I open myself to more light. Free in my heart, I open myself up to more light. Okay, slide your right hand down and bring that strap over to the right shoulder. Right arm lifts, hand turns. elbow bends, grab the strap. Use your free hand to tuck that arm close to the ear. Send your left arm out, thumb points down, and then that palm can grab the strap behind your back, and it can work itself up towards the other. And then again, if you're getting back bendy, soften the back bend. Close your eyes. Feel the work. Be firm. Free in my heart. I choose to live without fear. Free in my heart. I open myself to more light. Now, let the left hand slide away and let the strap fall away. All right, how are the shoulders feeling? Oops. Okay, because we're gonna go to a wall. Okay. So just briefly for this one pose, so everyone at the back wall, just go back. A couple of you can go to this wall, the rest of you come to the front wall. And look at me and I'll tell you what we're gonna do. So, Birds of Paradise is a big fancy pose. And you may not be able to completely get your arms bound, that's okay. If you were in a more advanced class, you would be going into the bind from side angle. You'd be hopping that foot around, you'd be lifting the leg up, or you'd be starting in squat, hooking, lifting, it's a lot. And you have to have a lot of body awareness already, but a gentle way to do it is on the wall. So it looks like this. We'll be standing on the outer leg, and we'll be lifting the other foot up the wall. Now, you can drop the shoulder and hook the arms, and then just try to get taller. And you see how I lifted my heel away from the wall? I needed to do that because of this alignment, right? I want the hip, knee, ankle aligned. It's not right now. So as I lift the heel, that's going to align the standing leg. And you don't even have to use your arms. If your shoulders are put right now, just lift your knee and then lift your heel and just see how that feels. So stand on your left leg at first and then hop your right foot onto the wall. And if you've got all lotioned up this morning, it's going to be difficult. And again, you may or may not want to create the bind. Don't worry about that. But lift your right heel, regardless if the arms are bound or not, and look down. Get a visual check. Is my left hip over my left knee? Is that over the left ankle? And can you elevate your breastbone as much as you can, especially with the arms down? Nice, okay. Remove the hands, and then all you have to do is kind of bounce off the wall, lower that foot. It's a more gentle way to do it. It may or may not be achievable, but that's okay. We're just getting the steps down. Okay, right leg will be the standing leg, and the left foot lifts. And then regardless if you're using the bind or not, lift the left heel and really focus on your standing leg. The bones are the densest part of the body. And that's what you want to rely on with, this doesn't seem like, is this body bind? Your left arm would be on the inside. And go under. There you go. Now you got it. Okay. Now that's right. Yes. I was just listening in one foot. You can bring that foot away from the wall like Renee's attempting, but you don't have to. Good, now let's remove the arms, bounce back down, done, good, done. Good, now you at least know a gentle way to work into that fancy pose if you ever want to try. Come back to the top of your mat. Have your hands to prayer. Circle the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the hands down through the middle. Take a hold of your blocks. Walk them back alongside your feet. Step your right foot back, lower the heel. Take the left block more alongside your shin now. And then let your right arm just hang loosely and freely. Okay, is everybody set up now? I want you to feel this twist. You got it. Slowly fan your right arm out and up. So you're coming into Trikonasana, triangle pose. All right, now for you, Kelly, I want you to come more to your fingertips on the block. Yeah, so you can straighten that front leg. Yeah, how's that? Okay. Beautiful. Keep your head in line with the rest of your spine. Exhale, bring that right hand down. Spin off the back heel, lunge the front knee, and step up. Step back with your left foot, plant the foot or the heel on the back foot. Slide your right block alongside your right shin. Look down and just let your left arm hang freely. All right, so if you can't completely straighten your right leg, this is where it's okay to come more to the fingertips on the block. And if you feel like the block is prohibiting you from going deeper, you can lose the block altogether. But then slowly fan the left arm out and up. Feel the twist that you're gaining. It's an open twist. Okay, so I'm gonna help you out. Bring this back foot slightly more forward. Yes. And yes, that's better. So you had your legs just a little too wide. Good. Exhale, bring that hand down, lunge that front knee, wiggle the back toes back behind you. Good. Lose the blocks and step into your plank position. From your plank, lift your head up, push back through your heels, but also lengthen through your neck. Pull your quads into your thigh bones, pull the navel in towards your spine. Be long, be strong here. Good. Exhale, come to the knees. Untuck the toes. Walk your hands back and pull the navel in and drape into the traditional form of child pose. And rest on your brow. Resting on the brow can bring some mental calm and peace. And I think it's one reason why we tend to naturally kind of drop into this pose sometimes when we're feeling sad, depressed, lonely, feeling grief, or even pain in our abdomen. Soothing. Let it soothe you here and now. Bring your hands beside your knees. Slide more to your hairline instead of right directly to your forehead. Then roll to the top of the head, lifting your hips away from the feet. Sassandasana. Then as you exhale, you roll back towards your brow and drop the hips back towards the feet. Inhale, lifting the hips, rolling past the hairline to the top of the head. And exhale, gently rolling back, massaging the scalp. One more inhale, coming forward. There's lots of acupressure points on the head. Remove some of the tension as well as you roll back to the floor. And let's slowly lift our way up. Good, when you lift your way up, you're gonna spin your legs around in front of you. That was our final inversion, simple today. We're gonna do one final twist before Shavasana. So if you cup up one of your knees, similar to what we did at the start of class, this is gonna prepare us for the supine twist. So open your arms and let your knees roll left. Regular yogis already know this, but if you're fairly new to the practice, you may not know that you can actually alter your state of consciousness through your breath. And there's different breathing techniques that we can use to create different effects in our body and mind. Since we're moving towards more relaxation, I would suggest that you breathe in a deep diaphragmatic way, meaning your abdomen and your chest are bellowing. Feel the expansion on the inhale and release on the exhale. You may even feel a wave or a ripple moving from the right side of your belly up into the right shoulder as you inhale. You may feel that wavelet come down from the shoulder back into the core. Just as you would want to shift your state of consciousness with substance, right? You can do it with breath alone. Inhale, let's draw the knees back through center. And then as you exhale, send them over to the right. Your head can stay centered or it can turn. But I wouldn't turn it unless you turned it before. And if you did turn it before, turn it the opposite way now. Does everyone have a blanket? Give me a hand. Raise your hand if you don't. Okay, I'll bring you one. Anybody else? Okay. All right, move back into your breath. Feel that ripple coming up from the left side of your abdomen towards your left shoulder. Right, inhale, come back to center. And then roll over to your favorite side, whatever that is. And we're gonna set up in a restorative position for our rest today. And we're gonna use all the props with the strap. So we're gonna use the two blocks on their lowest height at the front side of your mat. Bring, did y'all see that? They're side by side, lowest height. And then your bolster is gonna lean against it. Your blanket is going to be opened like this and folded in half. Something similar. Doesn't have to be precise. So that when you scoot closer to the setup and you send your legs over the bolster, this blanket here is going to go over your hips and abdomen, and you're going to tuck it in your waistline. That blanket, when you wrap it this way over the belly and tuck it in, that's your spa treatment. It's your European wrap. Feel how nurturing it feels. Maybe you feel held and supported. Difference. Let that weight of the blanket literally weigh you down to ground you into your body and into this moment time. You no longer need to control the breath because we're not moving anymore. It can be more organic. Flowing at its natural pace. But as the breath normalizing, I want you to acknowledge that natural pause in between each breath. That pause in between each breath is like that transition period, that realm of the unknown. Can you soften into that space? You honor that space in between. Can you meet it with intention, grace, and acceptance? And that's what I want you to focus on as you reside here today. return to the breath. Create deeper sips of breath. You get a little bit more energized through that deeper breath. You can begin to operate your hands and feet. Maybe pointing and flexing or wiggling around. And stretch your arms overhead as you breathe in. Hug your knees in as you breathe out. Rock, sway gently side to side. Give a little love to your back. Massage the kidneys and roll to one side of your body. Come up to take more formal seat. Sitting attentively. Hands together to prayer position. Gesture of grace and gratitude. It also seals our practice. Sealing this practice based on transition. The light within me honors and bows to the beautiful light in each of you. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for showing up and attending and being here and being willing to participate and having curiosity. I will say, Jen gave us permission to be able to share some other things that we do outside the studio. So I want to let you know that I do have some 4 spots available still for Morocco, taking a retreat there. We can be election. So if you want to hightail it out of here and not be involved in any of that mess, you can come with me to Africa. I also had 2 spots open up for Savannah. It's been sold out. That retreat is going to be in September, but we had 2 ladies that needed to pull out of that. So we have 2, a private room, but shared, but a private room and a private bath for Savannah in September. That's going to be over the International Peace Day. So we'll be doing a special ceremony for that. We'll be doing a celebration for the fall equinox while we're there, which we're bringing an astrologer into that. We're even going to go to Tidy Beach one day and have a walking meditation on the beach, a sunset meditation. And we're going to do beach arts, which will be really fun. So anyway, those are just a couple options I'm coming up for this year. I'm about to send my newsletter out, hoping, fingers crossed, that I'll have details up for New Zealand that I'm doing in February and India that I'm going back to in March next year. Yeah. A lot of options if you're curious.
Have a beautiful day. I heard it's going to rain this afternoon, so take advantage before all that starts.